Welcome back, WNST all week long for the NFL Combine. I have invited this guy cordially every year. He is on record as saying it's his favorite event of the year, and the only problem is that they hold it in Indianapolis, which is a place he is still allergic to, these 34 years later. But Luke and I will be waking up to the smell of waffles and chicken and all the weird stuff that we tend to do out in Indianapolis when we're there. Dennis Koulatsos, you're going to be missing out, but I know you have your television over there at Coons Ford Security Boulevard tuned into the NFL Network. You're going to be watching the Underwear Olympics in high definition, and you take the Combine pretty seriously. This is one of your favorite things. I know it is.
Yeah, you get a chance to see the players out of uniform. You get a chance to see them, jump, lift, sprint, the interviews, and you get a chance to put a face with the uniforms and the jerseys and the team colors, so to speak. And look, some guys interview well, some guys don't interview well. A lot of guys drop a lot of money made at the Combine, Nestor, and a lot of money lost. Guys get themselves in the first round, and they also drop out of the first round, and sometimes out of the entire draft. So that's the intrigue of the Combine. It's horse trading at its finest, and it's the best guessing game in the world.
All right, you, like everyone else, want to see them use this 16th pick in one way, shape, or form, in a receiver or a tight end or a threat, a weapon for Joe Flacco, as they would say, maybe more so than a tackle, or are you on the Orlando Brown Jr. train?
See, I'm still a big fan of the best player available at a position of need. And I also like building a football team from the inside out, from the trenches out. So if the best player available at 16 is an offensive lineman, whether it's Mike McGlinchey from Notre Dame or Orlando Brown Jr., I'd be okay with that. But I wouldn't stretch for the wrong wide receiver. I wouldn't pick, say, Cortland Sutton at number 16. Look, there's linebackers, there's safeties, there's a running back, Darius Geis, that can be very intriguing at number 16. I want the players going to help me the most because they can circle back in rounds 2 and 3 and pick up a tight end and a receiver as well. So they don't have to go all in because it's not a guaranteed thing. If Calvin Ridley's gone by number 16, I don't think there's another wide receiver worth taking at 16 or a tight end.
Well, okay, so, Ridley being the difference maker here, we're not going to know that until the night of the draft. And certainly, the better other players look, maybe the better the chance that he's still there. I don't think they would be the team dealing up to 9 or 10 or 11 to go get him. And certainly the notion that they've lost this opportunity to get a third-round comp pick, I know we talked about that in the active tense, didn't we? We talked about that as, boy, that's just going to happen, and it didn't happen. And now there's one more tool, and in the old days you couldn't trade those. That's one more piece they don't have as part of this draft class, which I think probably upset them last week.
Yeah, I would agree with you because I surely was counting on the extra third-round compensatory draft pick. They're not going to get that. They received a 6th. Look, they don't have enough to move up. I wouldn't move up. I think they need to stand pat. Still a lot of quarterbacks there for the taking, 5 or maybe 6, perhaps 6 in the first round. If there's a quarterback that's still there at 16, if somebody wants to give the Ravens extra draft picks, I would not be opposed to trading back, especially if somebody they really covered, like a Calvin Ridley, has been off the board at that point. So anything could happen, and that's, again, part of the intrigue and the suspense of draft day. I don't know if you ever watched the movie Draft Day with Kevin Costner, but I've seen that 3 or 4 times. Very intriguing, particularly when you talk about the real-life Cleveland Browns holding the 1st and the 4th overall, plus 3 second-round draft picks. I mean, those guys, they're going to have some fun come draft day.
Well, right, and how they value the board and dealing backwards to pick up maybe more picks would be they're going to control the poker, right? I mean, it's the Browns draft, and that's something we're going to have to get comfortable with as we go out to Indianapolis and say, what do the next 8 weeks look like? They have a lot of money. They have a lot of draft capital. Everyone's like, well, why aren't they jumping all in on Kirk Cousins? Well, I mean, they're going to have Sam Darnold, right? I mean, or whomever they want, right?
Yeah, look, getting Sam Darnold with first overall, it's a great consolation prize. They control the board, as you said. They could do so many different things, trade up, trade down, trade all the way around. But at some point, their draft picks have got to start delivering the goods, Nestor, and that's the problem with Cleveland. Now they have a GM that knows what he's doing. Hugh Jackson's supposed to be the quarterback whisperer. we'll have to wait and see.
He is Dennis Koulatsos. You can find him out at the SSV on WNST, out on Twitter during all sorts of times. I mean, I don't think he's watching or waiting on the Orioles from Sarasota, but I know you've been March Madnessing a little bit, and the Terps have certainly been a bit of a downer here as they play this Thursday sleepy lunchtime game in the Big Ten up in New York, and maybe they beat Wisconsin. I don't know, but certainly the FBI thing and where this investigation is going, and now it's been laid at the doorstep of Turgeon in Maryland on this Diamond Stone thing. This will not be the only place it lies. This is a treacherous time for all who deal in college basketball. Dennis, this thing's made us itch all of our lifetimes, right? We've known how sleazy and dirty this is. Yeah. It's not a revelation, but it is a revelation that the government's gotten involved in it now.
Oh yeah, when the FBI gets involved, by all accounts, I mean they're not going to stop. Talk about that's where the term "making a federal case" comes from. They take something that's not real big and they blow it up, and they take a molehill and make it into a proverbial mountain. Not that there's nothing that went wrong that they shouldn't be going after it, but look, it's just Mark Turgeon has enough on his plate before this thing came to the forefront. With all the injuries and the dismal record of the team this year, certainly that's not what this team needs right now.
Dennis, for the Maryland side of this and Turgeon and where the future lies, I don't want to say this would be a good time to part ways with him one way or another. Certainly there's always that camp of fire the coach. That's not who I am at this point. But I think there's an evaluation process right now for him and for their expectations in the program. And it's all about the boosters and the money people and who's going to be involved. But he's had to make account for this, right? Like, this is wound up on his doorstep. And, I don't want to say it's a smudge, but it is whatever it is. And, Gary Williams probably wouldn't have brought a kid in from Wisconsin to hang around for 12 weeks, right? Although he did do that with Steve Francis many, many moons ago. But, there only feels to be one way to play this, and that's that you let Diamond Stone come in and play if you want to be a top 5 program, which they could have been that year had things worked out a little better with that kid, right?
Yeah, I would agree with you, but I think both the basketball program at Maryland and also the football program, it's getting to be time that with the alumni, I think the alumni are getting restless. It's getting time to put up or shut up. I mean, they've got to start making their way up the rankings, the national rankings, and this isn't the way of going about it. Not just with Turgeon, but also with DJ Durkin, the two biggest programs at College Park. They've got to start making some headway, man. Victory, winning cures a lot of things.
Well, we should hope, and that should be the case for the Ravens here at this point. What's going on at Coons Ford? You guys been selling a lot of cars out there. I know President's Day and moving forward. We haven't sent out a whole lot of texts. I thought we would have dealt Machado by now on the Coons Ford text service, but that hasn't happened. But I know you guys have been very, very busy out there. Good weather helps sell cars too, doesn't it?
Yeah, great weather. We're already in the spring market, Nestor. We're seeing it. People are coming out and spending money. The economy's good. At least our economy's good. But again, we built our business model on repeat and referrals, and that's what we do. We just we have people flying in here daily from all over the country. Had a couple come in Saturday from Connecticut. That's what they do. They come in, and that's the message to our local customers: is look, if people are flying in from all over the country to save money, you just have a short drive to our stores within the DMV, and you can save thousands of dollars. And of course, our full service body shop and service department and parts. It's just a great time to be in the car business, Nestor. Gas prices are still very low. Interest rates are low. It's a perfect storm. It's been that way for a very long time now.
Yeah, I don't think you're making up stories that you're too busy to go to Indianapolis this week with us, because I know you were itching to go out there and be a part of this thing. I have a feeling it'll be a slow week when the Combine moves to L.A. in a couple of years. We'll slow you down and get you out there for 2 or 3 days.
It's got to be the middle of the month. The month end, month beginning, it's tough for me to get away. But I've got to call Goodell. I'm sure I can get to him through you.
Adjust this around,
Roger.
right?
Right. See, Roger, can you just make it middle of the month, middle of February, right around Valentine's Day? Maybe I can take my wife out there. We'll have a great time.
Well, the Big Ten tournament's in Indianapolis next year. I have no idea what the scheduling is next year, but I am going to sniff it out a little bit this year. And I know that they've been bouncing that thing around. It'll move a week later next year, but 3 days in Indianapolis is plenty for me. It really is. I will be itching to come home on Friday, but they are friendly out there. I'll say that. Everywhere you go, people are nice. So there is accounting for that. They are wearing our parents' stolen colors, but they are nice, Dan.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to all the great content that you and Luke post on WNST.net, all the great interviews, and that way I get to hear my favorite players and hear what they sound like, to hear if the communications majors can really communicate. You know what I'm saying? Wink, wink.
We will stalk John Harbaugh until we get answers, okay?
The mellifluous Brian Billick, if you can catch up with him.
We will get him week after next. How about that?
That sounds great.
He's on a ski slope someplace right now.
He's a skier. All 6'7" of them. He's a big guy.
You know what? His wife is a ski instructor, and they've taken their grandchildren out so that they're not afraid of the ski slopes because they enjoy it so much. So there. So
nice. Didn't realize Coach had grandkids. That's great.
So
great for him.
Yeah. So if you see a guy that looks like Billick coming down a ski slope in Utah, it's Billick. I assure you.
That would be him. That's
you know what? I've never questioned his intelligence ever, all of our relationship. But anyone that goes someplace cold in the winter to get away,
yeah,
I do. I have questions. That's all I'm going to say.
You have questions. Who is that man?
I'm going to Yellowstone this summer with my wife in August. We've never done it, but we're doing it in August. The weird part is when you Google Map these routes, they're all closed this time of the year. So they reroute you completely around every mountain. So you got to be careful on that. But, yeah, Missoula, Montana is our destination for the great Pearl Jam band in August.
Nice.
So,
well, there you go. Good weather and great music.
I've done all the ballparks, Dennis. I'm trying to find new things, explore new worlds, okay?
You're a true Renaissance man, Nestor. Appreciate it.
Raconteur is what it says out on the Facebook. I'll see you on Thursday. We'll check in from Indy.
You got it. Be well.
I will be with Dennis on Thursday afternoon, as will Luke. The NFL Combine underway. Dennis, of course, selling cars out there. Subscribe to our WNST tech service, and you get the breaking news first. It's all brought to you by Coons Ford of Security Boulevard. Dennis is here from 3 until 5. Is the SSV on WNST. Nasty at WNST.net finds me. We're on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Instagram, streaming live. Everywhere you are, including Indianapolis, all week long with some great guests. Good stuff going on from the NFL Combine. Make sure you circle March 29th on your calendar. That is opening day during the day. That evening, we will have head coach Barry Trotz joining us for a swabbing for the Bone Marrow Registry. We're going to be promoting and sort of previewing the Stanley Cup playoffs, which begin about 10 days after our live event. Ed Frankovic will be joining us on that. More details coming soon. I am Nestor. We are WNST.net, AM 1570 and WNST Towson, Baltimore. And we never stop talking Baltimore sports.